Hey, what's up, everyone? Raging Golden Eagle here, having way too much fun as always. And I just want to talk about Cover Corp, aka hololive, and social credit. How does social credit tie into what's going on with the VTubers? Well, we're gonna get to that. Let's build up a little bit first. So, what's the situation? What went down? It looks like Kiryu Koko and Akai Hato have been suspended from hololive for 3 weeks despite a lot of outrage from China calling for them to be outright fired, mind you, for the high crime of mentioning that Taiwan exists. Like Hato was going through some of her view and super chat history, like statistics on YouTube, and just mentioned that Taiwan was one of her top countries. And then Coco tried to cover for her and showed the same thing because she knew that this was going to explode. Because apparently, China is to Taiwan what Israel is to Palestine. They're just like, no, you're not even allowed to talk about this. No, Taiwan does not exist. I don't know what you're talking about. It's only China. But either way, as you can imagine, drama followed. And people are right to be mad that hololive is bending the knee to China. But there's another side to this story, though. hololive are in a very bad situation. They're stuck between a rock and a hard place on this one. They have no choice, basically, but to appease China anymore because, they have a Chinese branch. hololive China has existed longer than the English one. They went to China first before they went west. What I'm trying to get at is not only do they have to worry about losing access to the Chinese market, much more importantly, they have Chinese employees and business partners now. People who could be made an example of, if you know what I mean, if hololive doesn't play along. If the Chinese government is butthurt enough, Adam, and they did decide to just say, well, screw you then, we're just going to pull out of China, what do you think is going to happen to all of these poor girls who they have working for them in China, to all of the business partners they were working with? Now they have a big black mark against them in the eyes of the Chinese government. If they're lucky, they're just going to take a big hit to their social credit score. If they're unlucky, we may not see or hear from them again, at least for another couple of years, and then they'll resurface again parroting communist talking points. So I can actually, in this case, I can understand why hololive did what they did, because they literally have the lives of their Chinese employees hanging in the balance. So, yeah, hostages work is what I'm getting at. And in all honesty, seeing situations like this makes me less and less likely to ever try launching anything in China. Because if these are the kinds of strings that get attached, I'd rather just not deal with it. I'm actually fine. I'd be willing to work with having a Chinese partner to be able to access the Chinese market. I'm fine following the Chinese government's rules within China. I'm fine with that. I'd be willing to accept that. But if I know that I'll have to follow the Chinese government's rules at all times, or they're going to hold my Chinese employees and business partners hostage, I'm going to avoid that situation by just not doing business in China in the first place. That just seems like the best option. I don't care if they have like a quarter of the world's population. For the price they're demanding to get access to those people, nope, sorry. I'm just going to skip them over completely. I am not going to be dealing with that shit. The last thing I want is to put some innocent people in danger just because they dared associate with me. So, whatever. Yeah, I'm just not going to deal with it. But then there's more as well. The story just keeps getting spicier. Look at the issue of the Chinese fans themselves, and how a lot of these Chinese VTuber fans felt the need to come out and dogpile on Cover Corp, hololive, sometimes Coco and Hato themselves, and say the kind of shit like, oh yeah, I'm a fan of yours, but you have to go for your transgression. Why would these so-called fans feel the need to go so hard on what they're allegedly a fan of? It's actually a very obvious answer. Social credit. That's the reason. These fans have to keep their social credit score up so they don't lose the ability to buy food so they don't starve. They already probably have the ire of the Chinese government on them for being fans of these traitors as they see them. So all the fans right now have to virtue signal as loudly as possible. China all the way. Fuck all you guys for insulting our great nation. We will not let you get away with this. This cannot be allowed to stand. Because if they don't denounce hololive or these VTubers themselves, they may get a knock on the door in a few days. Get a little visit from a political commissar. And hey, I see that you haven't denounced these guys who insulted our great nation. Would you mind explaining why you haven't done so? We'd be very interested to hear your excuses. And this sounds absolutely horrible, doesn't it? But spoiler alert, this is the future that the SJWs want for the West. And they've already implemented it in part through cancel culture. Best example in recent months that I remember is what they did in comics. Remember Scott Snyder? Remember how he didn't denounce Comicsgate fast enough because he was on vacation with his family? How dare he? He needs to be on Twitter at all times paying attention to the drama so he can denounce Nazis 20 times an hour. This dude, his high crime was he was on vacation with his family and he missed all the drama exploding. And then when he came back, the political commissars were riding his ass, say, hey, comrade, we notice you didn't denounce those evil alt-right Nazi comic skaters. You wouldn't happen to be one of them, would you? Like, oh, you're not? Well, we better see you denouncing them double going forward, or else he's gonna wake up with a fucking horse head in his bed if he doesn't play ball. Now, doesn't this seem awfully similar to what these Chinese fans may be worried about in this hololive debacle? They know that if they don't come out screaming against hololive for daring to besmirch their great nation, then their great nation may send some secret police to pay them a little visit. Their social credit may drop a little bit too low for them to be able to use public transit, enter a freaking grocery store. Not a good look, as they say, right? So what these guys want is to create a world just like 1984. Remember where they gathered everyone up in that movie theater and then they put up photos of the great Satan and everyone was just reeing and screaming and throwing things at the screen? This is the kind of world the self-proclaimed progressives are trying to bring about through their cancel culture bullshit. And cancel culture, once again, is just Chinese social credit, except implemented by social media companies instead of by the government. And that's where things are getting dangerous, by the way. The world they want is what I just described, 1984, where they're going to show photos of me one day, and if everyone doesn't and throw bottles at them, they're going to be hauled off to the re-education camps. And right now, the only thing keeping us from going full-blown 1984 social credit is the fact that these deranged lunatics don't have the necessary political power to pull this off yet, but they're going for it. So sure, they're enforcing their social credit system on us via big tech companies now, but there are still places for us to go if we don't want to deal with it. It's been observed once again in comics. The comic pros that have no presence on social media, they get a pass on all this stuff because the NPCs never see them saying anything problematic, so they can't get them for that. They don't have accounts anyway, so they can't get them for not denouncing Nazis fast enough. So if you want to avoid this, just get off of Twitter, get off of Facebook. Don't be on social media, and you're going to avoid 99% of this shit. But what if they ever get control of the government, though? Because you know damn well if they ever get power in the government, they will enact their social credit cancel culture policies into law. What we're seeing in China right now, we will see in the US. So you guys know how I keep beating this dead horse? That the West loves to use China as a boogeyman. Like, oh, look at all the horrible stuff China's doing. And then they're doing even worse things while no one's looking. That's what's going on right now. Oh, look at that horrible Chinese social credit system. Just pay no attention as we lay the groundwork for building an identical system here in the U.S. Because right now, it's just on social media. If you don't denounce Nazis fast enough, you're canceled. But imagine that in meat space. Imagine if you don't denounce Comicsgate fast enough, Walmart won't let you enter their store. Oh, you're not allowed to shop here. Oh, look, we're going to cut off your power and water because we don't deal with alt-right Nazi sympathizers. You've been canceled. Look at China if you want to see our future if we let these lunatics win. That is 100% our future if we don't fucking check them a bit. And that's all I got to say, guys. Thanks for listening. Oh man, I am so excited to tell you guys right now that finally, after about a year of build-up and shilling, we have launched Blade Devil on Indiegogo, and so far it is doing so well thanks to awesome people like you. If you haven't backed it yet, then please check the links in the description and check out Blade Devil on Indiegogo. You will not be disappointed. Looking forward to seeing you there.